welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Laken and I'm so glad you're here. I'm not for sure what this vlog is going to be yet because I don't have like a theme in my head of like the types of books that I'm wanting to read, but I have started a book and I'm just going to talk about that. Like I said, I don't know where this is going to go, how many books I'm going to read. I am just going to share what I'm reading right now. If you saw my last vlog, I was in a big mystery mood and I'm still in a little bit of one. So this might be the last mystery book I'm reading for a little while though, because I feel like there's other books I want to get to soon. But right now I've started Bury Your Dead by Louise Penny. Funny thing about this series, so there's like 18 books out now, I think. And I started reading this series, it was probably over 5 years ago. Like it was so long ago. I feel like it was like 2016, 2017, and I was so into it. Like I think this is the 6th book. So I've read the first 5 books and I really loved them, but then I took a break and then never got back into them. And then it got to a point where I was like, I kind of want to read the next one, but I don't really remember what happened in the others. And I'm like, I don't want to reread 5 books just so I can read this next one. And then I thought about like going online and trying to like, I guess, spoilers for the first ones. So anyways, that's the predicament I guess I was in. But then I was listening to a podcast called Meg's Reading Room, and I'll link it down below. I'm actually friends with Meg on Bookstagram, and she has just started this podcast, which it is amazing. If you haven't listened to it, you really need to. It's so calming and cozy, and she talks about books and interviews different people, and I just really love it. On her last episode that I listened to, she had Beth Ann from Owl's Nest Publishers on there, and they were talking about publishing, and they were also talking about just different books that she likes. And she mentioned this series because she really loves the Louise Penny Armand Gamache series. And she was saying that she used to tell people like you have to start from the first book if you want to read the series, because they do kind of like connect, and of course you're following the same characters. But she said there are 18 books in the series now, and she has started telling people that really you can pick it up kind of where you want to, because it's kind of overwhelming thinking about, oh, there's 18 books in a series, and if I start from book 1, then I'm never going to read it probably. She was saying again that you can start from different book, like just pick one up, and that's better than not reading it at all. So that kind of made me feel better about it, because especially since I've already read the first 5, so I'm like, okay, if I've forgotten different things in those books, it's fine. So I really wanted to read this. So this, again, was the next one I had to read. This is the 6th book. Really happy that I'm picking it up because I'm really into it already. These books, I don't know, I feel like they're a different kind of mystery series, because not really, I don't want to say that mystery books are cheesy, but there are some cozy mysteries that are really cheesy, still really enjoyable. Like I will read it anyways. It doesn't matter if it's not the best writing. I will say Richard Osman is a really great writer, and he writes mystery books. So I feel like he's in the category of creating really fun mysteries, but also really great writing. But Louise Penny, she just writes, I feel like she's just such a good author. Her writing is so well thought out, and you just really fall into it. This series makes me think of like cozying up with a blanket and some tea or a hot chocolate on a cold day, and you just get lost in the book or lost in the series and these characters in the series. And I'm just really happy to be reading it right now. I feel like I can talk about the book because, and you can kind of pick up if you want to with this one, which I will say again, I really loved the first 5 of them, and you get like the background on the characters. But in this one, Armand Gamache is the chief inspector in Quebec, I think. Something has just happened in a case that he was working on, and apparently he made a mistake. I don't think it has said anything about what has happened on this case in the previous books, so I'm sure we'll figure that out in this book. He made a mistake, so he's kind of taking a break because it really affected him and he feels just horrible about it. So he's on a little bit of a break right now, and he is in Quebec. But while he's there, a man is found dead in the Literary and Historical Society. It's like a historical library. So a man is found dead while he's there, and that's as far as I've got so far. But like I said, as soon as I started reading this again, I just wanted to be just immersed in this world with these characters. Armand Gamache is the chief inspector, like I said, and it really follows him. The way he solves murders is a little bit different. Like he really tries to get in the like the murderer's mind and like find the motivations. And it's very much like, I guess, a study of like humans and how we react to things and why we do certain things, which I think is really cool. Armand Gamache is just such a great character. He's just so kind and has such a big heart. And it talks about, like, this woman was talking about meeting him for the first time, and she would assume, looking into his eyes, it would be seen like a hard man, like hardened by all these things that he's seen since he's been on the force. But she was talking about how, like, he just looked so kind. I don't know. He's just such a good man, and I love him. Anyways, that's what I'm for sure going to be reading in this vlog. I don't know what else I'm going to read. I have been thinking about wanting to pick up Harry Potter again because I've read it twice, and I'm just in that mood to read Harry Potter, but kind of to read it in the background, I think, like not like sit down and just focus solely on that. I kind of just want to be sprinkling it in here and there. We'll see what I end up doing. I just know I had a little bit of a harder week at work because it was only a 4-day work week. We didn't go on Monday, but I was coming back from fall break. We also had a field trip on Friday, so I feel like we were trying to fit in 5 days of work in 3 days, which was stressful. And then field trips are always stressful to me, so I was just stressed this week and I just want to rest. So I'm just excited to sit down and just read today and get lost in this book. I'm going to give a little bit of an update because it is now a lot later in the day and I'm on page 141, chapter 11. So I've read about 100 pages today, and that is big for me because I feel like I usually don't read that much in a day, but I just had the laziest day. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to do anything. I just wanted to sit and read and relax, and I feel like I needed that, and it helped me a lot. So yeah, I just sat and read this basically the whole day, but I know a little bit more of what's going on now. So I talked a little bit about what Inspector Gamache was going through right now and where he is, but also someone on his team is also like dealing with things because of whatever happened, and that is Inspector, I'm probably gonna say this terribly because there's so many French words and names in this book. I think it's Inspector Beauvoir. He is also on leave because of whatever happened, and now Inspector Gamache is wanting him to go back to Three Pines, which is basically where all of these books take place. Three Pines is like this small little village in Canada that a lot of the books take place in. There's been a lot of murders there. The thing that happened in the last book took place there. So Inspector Gamache is now thinking, okay, maybe I didn't have it right. I want to be like certain that I have put this person in prison and I didn't make a mistake. So he's telling Inspector Beauvoir to go to Three Pines and kind of look into it, ask some more questions, and instead of going about it like knowing that this person's guilty, kind of like trying to prove that they're innocent now. Beauvoir doesn't really want to do that because he's like, I know this person is guilty. I don't believe that they're innocent. And he seems more like where Armand Gamache has more of a heart for people and really cares about them and is so kind. I feel like Beauvoir, he doesn't really like people. He's a little bit more cynical, but he loves Armand Gamache. Like, he is who he looks up to. So anyways, he does go back to Three Pines now, and he's looking into the case again, like it's reopening. So it probably would be good, I feel like, to at least read the one before this, even though it gives you all of the backstory. Like, even though I didn't remember everything, it's basically telling me everything that happened in the last book. If you don't care to be spoiled for the one before this, then you can go ahead and start with this one. But if you really want to not be spoiled for that one, I would read that one before this one at least. So I am caught up. I remember what happened in the last one. It's almost like there's honestly, it's almost like there's 3 different mysteries taking place. Like the one that they're kind of not exactly reopening, because it's not unofficially reopening. They're trying to look into that again and figure out, okay, did we put the right person in prison? And then you also have the one, I guess kind of the main one for this story is where Armand Gamache is in Quebec, and he is kind of helping as a consultant kind of now, since he's on leave, for the man that has been found murdered in this literary and historical society library. And then there's also the other one, like in the background, I feel like, of whatever case like put them on leave. So yeah, there's like 3 different mysteries I feel like going on in this, and I'm just loving every minute of it. I was wanting it to be like, I wanted to be like immersed in this book, in this story, and that is exactly what has happened. I've just been sitting reading it all day and having the best time. I feel like it is a slow story, and I feel like her books are, but it's not slow in a way of like, I don't really want to pick it up. I'm flying through it, but it's a like slower paced, I guess. So just keep that in mind. It's not like this big thriller suspense. You're taking your time getting through the story. I just love that about it, honestly. Even though I don't feel like I usually like slower paced stories, she just does it really well. I think that's all I'm gonna read of this one today. I do think I want to start reading a little bit of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, because again, I'm just in that mood, and I feel like it's the perfect month to pick these books back up. So I might read a little bit of this today. I did go to the store earlier, to Target. I wanted to get these Olive and June nails that have the little pumpkins on them, and I'm really sad because they didn't have them. They had all of their Christmas nails out. I also looked at another store and they were sold out, so I think they're just gone for the season now, which is sad because I didn't get to put them on this year. But oh well. I ended up getting some other ones. They're like a really dark blue to where they're almost black, so I'm like, that's good enough for October. Yeah, I'm just gonna rest a little bit more. I'm watching Ella Enchanted, which I haven't seen in such a long time. I'm gonna go finish that movie, color a little bit, and read some Harry Potter. It's the next day, and I've decided I think I'm just gonna see how much I can read in a week. So I started this yesterday on Saturday, and I think I'm just gonna go through Friday until next Saturday just to see how much I read in a week. Yesterday, I figured out I read 95 pages of Bury Your Dead. I'm almost halfway through this one, and I didn't, like I said last night, I didn't read any more of it, but I did read some of Harry Potter, and I only read the first chapter last night, so I read 17 pages of this. So altogether yesterday I read 112 pages. So I think that's really good for me, honestly, in a day. I usually do not read that much in a day. I already know I'm going to get less read than I did yesterday, just because since I did basically nothing yesterday except for read, I have things I need to do today now, like chores and things for work. I'm going to try to read some. I think I'm going to read some more of Bury Your Dead, and then I'm just going to sprinkle Harry Potter in throughout the week. I am really sad though, because I went on Goodreads to put that I'm reading this right now, and I've read this 2 other times, but Goodreads was not showing me that I'd read it at all. So I've lost that, which is sad, but it still showed that I've read the rest of the series. I'm just gonna try to get as much read as I can today, and I will update you all. Monday now, and usually when I'm vlogging I don't come on here during the week and really talk about anything because I'm kind of exhausted, and yeah, I usually just leave it for the weekend. But since I am trying to show how much I read in a day, I did want to come on here really quick at least and tell you how much I read yesterday. I was on page 141 yesterday. Now I'm on chapter 16 and I stopped on page 211. If I'm adding this up right, I read 69 pages yesterday, which I knew it wouldn't be as much as Saturday. I am a little over halfway through this now. It's such a good book. Like I said before, there are like 3 mysteries going on at the same time, like a one at the forefront and then 2 other like behind the scenes ones. And honestly, the one that I'm most interested in, I've figured out, is whatever has happened with Inspector Gamache in a case that made them have to go on leave because like it really affected them. I want to know what happened there, because we're getting like tiny little glimpses of it. Like, we'll randomly, every few chapters, Armand Gamache will have a flashback or he's thinking about it, and you'll get just a little bit more of what happened, but it's just so tiny, like a little bit at a time. And I'm like, I just want to know more. Like, I want to keep reading this part, and then he'll stop. Or like Beauvoir, what, I wish I knew his name. Inspector Beauvoir's name, like his first name, is Jean Guy. So I think I'm just gonna call him that because I cannot say his last name. Sometimes he'll also be like either telling somebody about it or thinking about it, and you'll hear or you'll figure out a little bit more of what happened. I'm like piecing it together. And honestly, that's the one I'm most interested in, because I'm like, oh, I just want to know what happened. I really like that about the book. And again, we're in Quebec, and we're also in Three Pines. Like, it keeps, like, depending on the chapter, whoever we're following. We're not in Three Pines that much. We're mainly with Gamache and Quebec. Also, it does take place, like, okay, so from the cover, you would think that it takes place in like October or November, because like, look at the leaves on it. But it takes place, I think, in February. They talk a lot about like the weather in this, like this, there's so much snow, there's blizzards. It has a cold feel to it, I guess. I'm just imagining as I'm reading it, like we're in the dead of winter, and that's I kind of wish I was reading it then, but I also just really want to read it right now, so I'm not gonna wait. But I think this would be a really good book to read in like November, December, January, February, any of those like really cold months, if it's really cold during those months for you. And surely I can finish this week. But a couple other things that I am gonna get to do this week. I did not come up with this. I'm gonna go ahead and say that. I follow Hey Caitlin on Bookstagram. She was talking about, she has really been getting like the Sunday scaries on Sunday, and she was asking people like, what do you do to, I guess, like counteract that? And someone told her that they were having the same issue, and they started doing like a midweek weekend. And I thought that was a really great idea, because I have also been having like terrible Sunday scaries, like to the point of like on Monday mornings, I just wake up with so much anxiety for the week and the day, and I'm like, I cannot do this. And I know I'm okay. Like, I know once I get to work, I'm fine. I really am. It's the getting there on Monday, for some reason, I just like, it gives me so much anxiety. I feel like I need to start this midweek weekend. So basically on Wednesday, you like plan for like something special, like something maybe that you would usually do on the weekend, to make it like a more fun day to look forward to. Then it's kind of like you're having a midweek weekend, and then you only have 2 more days. I think what I'm gonna do is have like kind of like a movie night. I already talked to my husband about it, because I want him to do this with me. I was trying to think of a movie to watch and maybe like make popcorn, eat pizza, things like that on that night, to just like make it a little bit more fun. On Saturday, me and my husband are gonna get to go to like a tiny little Halloween get together with some friends, and we're gonna dress up, I think. So I'm trying to figure out a Halloween costume for us to put together. I'm gonna go get into some comfier clothes and read some more of this book. terrible job at updating you all on what I'm reading each day or how much I'm reading each day. This vlog is gonna be different than I planned it to be, I guess. I would have liked to say like how much I read each day, exactly how much, but then last night I was trying to like figure out how much exactly I'd read Monday, and then how much I'd read Tuesday, and then how much I'd read Wednesday, and then I was like, I honestly don't remember what I read each day. So I just did a bad job at keeping up with that, and yeah, so this is gonna be different than I planned. I can at least tell you at the end of this how much I read in a week. I'm still reading Bury Your Dead. I'm at the very end. I have less than 100 pages left. I am planning on finishing that either today or tomorrow. I feel like we're getting close to things wrapping up. I am still very much enjoying the book. And then I did have to stop at the library on my way home today because I had a lot of books I needed to return that were a little late. I went and returned those, and while I was in there, I went to look in the middle grade books. Technically, I was looking for a book to get to have like as a read aloud for my kids at school, but I had like 15 minutes to look before they closed, and then I just started looking for myself, so I'm gonna have to go back because I didn't get anything for them. But I did end up getting two things for me. The first one I found was Kate DiCamillo's new book called The Hotel Balzar. It says it's a companion novel to one of her other books that I have not read, so I don't know if I'm supposed to read that one first. I really don't know much about this book. I think she's like she's been writing a collection of like maybe different fairy tale type books, and this is one of them, so it's a lot different. It seems different than the other books that I've read by her, but I just really love Kate DiCamillo, and I feel like anything she writes is just so full of hope and feels like a hug. And I also saw The Night Gardener by Jonathan Auxier. He wrote Sweep, which is one of my favorite middle grade books of all time. I saw it and kind of wanted to get it because it seems a little, I guess, like spooky, even though I don't really like spooky, just so it's not like too creepy. And it's a middle grade, which I feel like there are middle grades that are going to be too creepy or spooky for me. Follows two Irish siblings, and they're working as servants in a creepy, crumbling English manor home. It says they're confronted by a mysterious stranger and an ancient curse that threatens their very lives. I'm really curious about this one. I don't know. I really like his writing. I just don't know if this one's going to be too creepy. So we'll see about that. Who knows? I might read these books before they need to be returned to the library, or I might not. Who knows? I do want to go to Barnes & Noble tomorrow because it's been, I feel like a month at least since I bought a book, which is good for me. So I'm kind of really wanting to get a book now. So I'm thinking about going there tomorrow morning. Also, tomorrow is our little Halloween game night get together. So I don't remember if I told you all what me and my husband were going to be, but our costumes came in Wednesday. Persia's running through the house right now, like acting crazy, so you hear some weird noises. Costumes came in Wednesday. I'm gonna be Hermione and he's gonna be Harry. I tried my costume on Wednesday and it literally brought me so much joy. I could not stop smiling. I didn't want to take it off. I'm really excited to actually dress up tomorrow. I'm gonna probably go read some more of Bury Your Dead, and I'm hoping to finish it today. And then I'm also gonna make, for the party tomorrow, I make some chocolate chip pumpkin muffins. So I'll show you all as I make that. I've made them like a million times, I feel like. They're like the perfect treat for the fall time. From Barnes & Noble, and I'm about to make the pumpkin muffins. I wanted to show you all the book that I got at Barnes & Noble. So I was looking around. I really didn't have any idea on what I wanted. Nothing was really standing out to me, but I did decide to get We Solve Murders, because I just love Richard Osman and I've been wanting to read this. I don't know when I'm gonna read it. Probably not. I don't know if I'm gonna read it next or not, but I don't know. I love the cover of this. I think it's really cute. And then the inside with the little cats and the gun. I have seen a few people have already read this. I think it came out maybe a month ago and there's already really good reviews on it. So I'm really looking forward to getting to this soon. Also, I keep going back and forth. I've never read Beach Read before. Okay, technically I've read some of it because I have the paperback copy and I have read some of it. I mean, I was liking it, but then I just put it down and never finished it. Every time I see the new edition of it, the sprayed edges, like, I want it so bad. So I thought about getting that, but I don't want to read it right now. I don't know how long they keep those like special editions out because I feel like I want to read it. I know it's called Beach Read, so it seems like a summary book, but I almost want to read it in like maybe January after like Christmas and stuff because I feel like I'm going to start reading Christmas books soon. Also, they had a whole section of Christmas books already out and I started adding some to my list. I will probably start reading Christmas books in November. I don't see myself reading it soon, but I want it. I don't want to like miss the chance to not get it because I just think it's so beautiful. Like the sunset, I just really want it. I didn't get it this time. I think maybe whenever I have some money on my Barnes & Noble account, so that way I can save a little bit of money on it. And then I went to a coffee shop and I got this, I think it's called a cozy cold brew. Now, I don't drink caffeine because it does not agree with me. It makes me feel terrible. I didn't think that you could get a cold brew decaf, and she said you can't, but she said she would make it for me like a latte and do the same things except for it's not the cold brew. So I got that. It's supposed to be like, so it's like a latte and has mocha cold foam on the top, and it's like sprinkled with like, I don't know if it's like cocoa powder or something, and then like salt flakes. It tastes very, very good. It's supposed to be kind of like hot chocolate flavored, but it's cold. I really, really like it. I'm gonna make the pumpkin muffins now. So this is like the easiest recipe. All you need is a spice cake mix and 1 can of pumpkin. You need some chocolate chips and then some water. It's super easy. And I'll leave like the exact amounts of everything down below. But I mean, you just mix it together and put it in a muffin tin. But I'm gonna go and make those, and then I still need to finish Bury Your Dead. I'm so close to being done. I almost finished it last night, but it was so late. I was so exhausted. I did end up reading about it resolving one of the mysteries, so now I have to read about the other 2. And it was so frustrating because I wanted to keep reading because it's literally revealing everything now, and I could not keep my eyes open. So anyways, I'm gonna finish that today also. And yeah, so I'm gonna go make this. Like 2 weeks later, but I wanted to wrap up the vlog because I feel like it's taken me so long to end this because I have had like no motivation to edit it, and now here we are like 2 weeks later, and I almost didn't even want to post it because in this video it was October and like Halloween hadn't even happened yet, and now we're into November and I'm like in the Christmas spirit, but I'm just gonna post it anyways because I want to share this book that I read with you all and the different things I did in the vlog. So anyways, all that to say, I did want to show you all the picture of us dressed up, so I'll just post that here. I think it turned out good. We had a lot of fun, and yeah, so the pumpkin muffins were great. So all of that worked out. I also wanted to let you all know I did finish, of course, Bury Your Dead, and I gave it 5 stars. I think it all wrapped up really well. I love just seeing all the mysteries revealed in it, and Louise Penny just makes, I think, the best cozy mysteries that have depth. So I would highly recommend that book, or just that series in general, if you're wanting like a good winter mystery to read that's not scary, and that is cozy but is not cheesy at all. So yeah, she just has the best mystery books. But if you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching and spending this little bit of time with me. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.